Welcome everyone to my video, and thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have a tutorial here for this sweet little butterfly. You need a crochet hook. I've got a 3.5 millimeter here. You'll need a pair of scissors, and you'll need a yarn needle to do this project. Okay, so go ahead and get some yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot to start our project. And then after you have your slip knot made, we're going to chain 6. Okay, when you have 6 chains made, chain stitches, we're going to slip stitch into the very first chain that you made right there by the slip knot. So go ahead and yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop at the back as well. And we'll make a little circle. We'll make some stitches inside this circle. Like it's just treat it as if it's one big stitch. There's a little circle there. Sometimes you have to stretch it out to see it. Then chain 3. And then we're going to double crochet into the center of our circle. So yarn over, put your hook into the circle, yarn over again and pull a loop up, and you'll have 3 loops. Then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over again and pull through 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into our circle. Now that original chain 3 that we did at the beginning counts as a double crochet. So what we're going to do here is do groups of 2 double crochets and then chain 2. So here I'm making a second double crochet into the ring for this group. Okay, so there we have 2 double crochets there, and now I'm chaining 2. And now you can yarn over and do 2 double crochets again. And we're going to repeat this. There's 1. We're going to repeat this until we have 6 groups. Nope, sorry, 8 groups of 2 double crochets and a chain 2 in between each group of double crochets. Chain 2, double crochet into the circle. Oops, got stuck. And then double crochet a second one, and then chain 2. Okay, chain 2. And then just keep doing 2 double crochets and chain 2 until you have 8 groups. Double crochets, chain 2, and your circle will get tight. There's a lot of stitches going into the circle, and you might have to pull them over. You could just hold your work and pull the stitches down on the right hand side if you're right-handed. See, like that. Just pull them over to make more room in your circle. Okay, I'm almost there. All right. I think I have. Okay. I think I have 7 groups. There's 2 double crochets and chain 2. So there'll be a chain 2 space between every group of double crochets. Know that. I've got 1 more to do, I think. Okay, so Yep, so there's 8, and you have to make sure that you do that last chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch to the top, count up to the 3rd chain there, and slip stitch into that 3rd chain that we did right at the beginning. Okay, so now if you want to change colors, you're going to finish off. So that means you'll cut your yarn, you'll cut the working yarn, and you'll weave in your ends. Go ahead and weave in the ends, and you can we'll join a new color. So you just take your tails and this is how I put it onto my yarn needle. I just pinch a little loop and then rub the yarn needle over the top, and it pops through. Usually pops through pretty good. And you just pull it through, and then you're going to take your tail and weave it into some stitches on the back of your work. And then you can flip it over to check to make sure that it's not showing. If you can't see the yarn needle on the front side, then it's good. You don't want that string, that tail, to be showing on the front. So we want to make sure it gets in between all these stitches in the middle. There, so you can weave it through one way and then weave it through the other way and just trim off the excess. And the tails are hidden inside the stitches. Now we're going to do the other one. Now there is a special way to do an invisible finish off or join here. So put your yarn on your yarn needle, and you're going to skip the next stitch, skip that one, and you're going to put your yarn needle under the second one and pull it forward, and then you're going to put your yarn needle in the last stitch right there and pull it to the back. Pull your tail to the back of your work. And now watch how beautifully the edge looks. You cannot tell where you ended and where you began. And it's important to skip that first stitch after your tail, after your ending stitch. Okay, and then you'll just pull it through some stitches to the back. I like to pull it down to the bottom of the double crochets because it's easier to get the tail underneath those stitches at the bottom there. And you can just slide it under a whole bunch of stitches there, and it's just easier to hide your tail there. Okay, so pull it over. Notice I'm jumping over a thread right here so that my tail doesn't come back out the same way that it went in. We don't want it to pop right back out. Oops, tight there. My stitches are a little tight. Okay, there we go. All right, and then you can trim off the excess again, and you're all set to join a new color and do the last round. There are only 2 rounds in this cute little butterfly. Okay, I'm just straightening it out here a little bit. Just trying to smooth it out. Okay. Now we can take a second color and we're going to join a new color. So just put your hook into one of those spaces, those chain 2 spaces that we made between each set of double crochets. Pull up a tiny loop, drop your tail behind, tighten that up, and then yarn over and pull through. So you just joined a new color. Now chain 3, chain 3. I think I chained 2, which is fine. And then you're going to double crochet 5 times into that same space. And then after this, we're going to double crochet 6 times into each space, but for now, we're going to double crochet because that chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. So I'm double crocheting 5 times into that same space. And there my tail, I'm just pulling my tail out, get it out of the way. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch after we finish these double crochets, we're going to slip stitch in the same space. Okay, so there's my chain 3 and 5 double crochets. Now I'm going to slip stitch. So you put your hook in, grab the working yarn, pull it up, and then pull it through your loop as well. And then tighten that up. I just pulled my working yarn there, tighten that up, make it nice and neat. Okay, now we're just going to jump right over into the next chain 2 space and do 6 double crochets. So put your hook in there, do 6 double crochets in the same space. And then we're going to slip stitch. Now, if you're comfortable with double crochets, you can just speed up. You can speed up the video and go through this a little fast, or you could just pause it so that you can get your stitches done. And you could speed it up like 150% of normal, or you can do it double the speed if you want to speed it up faster. And YouTube has a lot of settings. Right there at the bottom, there's the settings button, and you can change the speed or pause it. And you can also slow down the video if you want to crochet with me and do everything together. You can just slow it down if you need to. So there's my 6 double crochets, I believe. Yes. And here's a slip stitch. And then just go ahead and yarn over and jump right into the next chain 2 space and do 6 double crochets. Just keep doing that in every chain 2 space. Double crochet 6 times and then slip stitch into the same space. Okay, so here's one space left. I have one chain 2 space left, so I have one more little group of 6 double crochets to make. So go ahead and do your last 6 double crochets in that last chain 2 space. Uh-oh, got stuck. Okay, there we go. We'll just do our 6 double crochets and a slip stitch. There's 4, 5 double crochets, and 6 double crochets. And now we're going to slip stitch in the same stitch. And now we're going to slip stitch at the top of the chain 2 that we made at the beginning. Right there at the top of the chains that we made at the very beginning, you're just going to slip stitch in there as well. And then you're ready to, almost ready to finish your butterfly. Isn't that funny? It's a circle. It's like a flower. Oops. And I almost cut my yarn and I forgot I have to do something else before we cut the yarn. We're going to chain 8. So after you finish your little flower, it's really a flower. It's cool. Chain 8. And we're going to fold. Then we're going to fold our little project in half. Just fold it right in half, so that the little shell stitches are all in line with each other. They're right evenly on top of each other. And then we're going to take that chain 8 and wrap it all the way around our little butterfly. So just wrap it all the way around. That tail underneath I need to weave in. Wrap it all the way around to the beginning, so that the end of the chain 8 is right at the same place where the beginning of the chain 8 was. And now we have to find the beginning, and we're going to slip stitch into the beginning. So there, I'm just showing you again. We're just going to fold it in half and wrap, just in case I didn't show it well enough, I'm wrapping that chain 8 around the butterfly, and you're going to have to pull a little bit tight just to kind of scrunch it together a little bit. And then you're going to find the very first chain and you're going to slip stitch. So right there at the bottom of the butterfly, you're going to find the stitch, the first chain stitch that you did right there, and you're going to slip stitch into it. So it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to point it out right here. It's right down there at the bottom. It's kind of hidden. So just do your best to get your hook into a stitch there, and it's really not going to show. So if you get it in the wrong place, it's not going to be a big deal. Just try to get it at the bottom of the butterfly there and slip stitch. Okay, so just to connect that chain 8 around your butterfly. All right, so then you can pull your yarn to tighten it, pull that working yarn, and then you can cut it. You're going to weave in both of those tails. Just pull it right out of the loop like that. And then you can weave in both of the tails. I'm just shaping it up a little bit. Now put your tail on your yarn needle. That's the tail that's kind of on the inside there. I'm going to just go ahead and weave that in under some stitches over there. This is on the inside of the butterfly. So whenever you can hide your tail like in a place that's not going to show, that's best. So on the inside between the two layers is a good place. Now my tail is a little short, so I have to, it came off. I have to put it back on. Now I'm going to weave it in one more time. I always weave in my tails at least 2 times to make sure that they're not going to pop out again, because it really makes your work look sloppy if you have little pieces of the tails popping out everywhere. So weave it in several times to make sure that's not going to happen. Now we'll take the last tail and we'll weave that one in. So put that one on your yarn needle and find a place inside underneath where you can weave in your tail. Yeah, I'm just going to poke it through that center point there and then put it underneath part of the butterfly. I'm going to weave it under another bunch up that way. Yep, you can look at the other side to make sure that your yarn needle isn't showing very much, and that means that your tail will not show on the opposite side as well. And so it'll look nice. All right, so pull that through 2 times, trim off the excess. Take your scissors and cut off the excess. Make sure you don't cut your project when you're trimming off those tails. Okay, so there's the butterfly almost done. And then just take a piece of yarn about, oh, I don't know, about 5 inches long, 4 or 5 inches long, and cut it. Just kind of guess, but you want to have it long enough to where you can make a knot, 2 knots actually, and you want them approximately 2 inches apart, the 2 little knots that you're going to make in this piece of yarn. So make a knot on one end, then turn it over and make a knot on the other end. Then you'll trim off the excess above the knot. You're going to cut off the yarn above the knot there. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hook and put it underneath that chain that we used to wrap all the way around our butterfly. I'm going to pull this piece of yarn underneath, and then make sure it's right in the top, at the top in the middle, and then you can go ahead and trim off the other excess yarn if you didn't already. And voila, you're done. Good job. Okay. Now please let me know if I need to go slower, or, you know, I may have gone a little fast on this, but you can always pause it, go back, watch it again. Let me know if I need to do anything differently, or, you know, if you have any suggestions for my video. So I appreciate it. I appreciate so much that you came to see my video. Have a great day.